Keep basically all that chemical stuff that you use for cleaning. You can use salt water to do the same thing.
See, I always thought with salt that it was created like an exfoliant, like you do with your body, that it might like scrub things.
When it's dissolved, remember the salt dissolves.
Okay.
So you want it. You got everything. It says most of the stuff. It says warm water. I think in cold water it takes a lot longer. It's almost all warm water. Because
so when it's cold water, it acts as an exfoliant. When it's warm water, it just cleans it without scrubbing it.
That's right. Basically, clean brass or copper. Mix equal parts of salt, flour, and vinegar to make a paste. Rub the paste on the metal after letting it set for an hour. Clean with a soft cloth or brush, and buff with a dry cloth. Yes, I know, but that one, that's an oldie and a goodie right there. And a brush cleaner, yeah, this is from my father's world. Mix salt and retard with just enough water, make a paste, rub on a brush, brush off and buff with a dry soft cloth. You can do the same method with the mixture of salt and lemon, which is what we actually did with the salt and lemon, because the lemon made the stuff smell better. Coffee, glass coffee pot, which we already. Basically, the salt scours the bottom and helps to agitate it more. So I want salt and ice cubes in the coffee pot, swirl around vigorously and rinse. So, because salt basically is just like, it's like your little scrubber. I know, we got one, here's one, laundry, which, wine spills.
Oh, I didn't know you could use it, wow.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. The tips you
for
get.
Wine spills?
Yeah,
that's just like some of the worst things.
Okay, immediately cover the wine spill with a pile of salt, which will help pull the remaining wine from the fiber.
Pulls it out.
After dinner, soak the tablecloth in cold water for 30 minutes before laundering.
Ooh, it pulls it out. It draws it out. Just like it draws things out of the air.
Yeah, it just goes, because that's the same thing with the bee sting, remember? It draws all of the thing out.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Here's another old wives' tale.
And you can stop over sensing.
Yeah.
Like if you put too much.
Yeah, but basically you sprinkle salt in the thing. That's what happens if it starts to go wild on you. But most of the people have front loaders, which basically you can't do that with. But you got a top loader.
Yeah, it reminds me of old TV shows. I don't know how often that actually happens.
On top loaders more than you think. Because the difference is a top loader is generally a bigger piece of stuff, and basically people almost inevitably add too much soap to a thing. So.
You think you have more clothes, so you need more soap, and then right?
Yeah, dry clothes in the winter. Use salt in the final laundry rinse to prevent clothes from freezing if you're outdoors. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you can hang your clothes outdoors in the cold weather with a salt rinse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, keeps them, because people.
I didn't even think about that, because if it's cold, it's like I don't want my clothes coming from the cold.
A lot of people don't have dryers. They hang them on lines.
Really?
So what you do is,
what
happens is, if you hang it online, you have to go ka-thunk, and it's cold as heck to put it on. But this way, basically, it keeps it. It probably. I'm iffy about whether it will take out the colors of some of your outfits or not. That's that one.
Because you're saying it brighten colors.
I know. I
don't know.
Brighten colors. Colored curtains are washable fabric rugs in saltwater solution. Brightens faded rugs and carpets by rubbing it briefly with a cloth.
Well, maybe it brightens it by taking out some of the dirt.
Yeah, but I don't think I would wash my. This is for people.
Hey, it says it removes perspiration stains.
Yeah. Well, I could try that. I got some silk shirts that I have perspiration stains on.
And remove blood stains. I thought all you did was cold water.
Okay, add 4 tablespoons of water to 1 quart of hot water. Sponge the fabric with solution until stain fade. Oh, I'm going to try that one.
See, part of it is after I hear all these things, I'm thinking the salt needs to be like right by the kitchen sink.
Yeah, basically.
In the laundry and all these places.
Yeah,
it seems like you can use it for everything.
Try that. Mostly I was taught blood, milk would get rid of it. But I didn't realize that salt was cheaper than milk. Because what would happen was, we'd get cut and bleed on something, we just immediately go wipe it off with milk, and milk basically pulled it out. That made it easier to launder.
Well, you know what? You notice the thing is, remember we were talking about it pulls the impurities out? It pulls whatever's out.
Yeah.
The new stuff out.
Okay, use only a cotton, linen, or other natural fibers again. But mostly a lot of stuff isn't. Okay, most of this stuff is not natural anymore. So, some of this stuff is tackle, mildew, or rust stains. I've already done rust stains. Moisten stained spot with a mixture of lemon juice and salt, and then spread the item in the sun for bleaching, then rinse and dry. Which is, Actually, we did this one on cleaning a gunky iron bottom. We did do that one. We did it with baking, so we've done this one. Drink a little salt and a piece of paper, and then run the iron over it to remove the rough, sticky spots. All I did was I took one of these, put it in a baking soda or salt solution, and then rubbed over the bottom of the thing. And I also run the solution through the inside because it cleaned the hard water out of the system. That was a perfect shot. But actually, here's the last of them, set color, which we do know about that one.
Yeah.
Textile industries use it for setting the color. If a dye isn't color fast, basically, because we've done tie dyeing and stuff, and it basically a salt water rinse helps to set the color in it. But add 1/2 cup vinegar and 1/2 cup salt and rinse. If rinsed water has any color, repeat. Use only on single colored fabric or matras. If the item is multicolored, dry clean it to avoid running all the colors together. Well, we basically used it to help set our tie-dye stuff because basically we're using, I think, a combination of soda ash and salt, which is the combination. So, but I mean, this is just 6 pages of uses of salt. You go to the Salt Institute page and it just goes on and on. Use to clean grease on your automobile engine. You know, but I didn't know about the perspiration. I wanted to have to go see if I could salvage some of my expensive shirts that I get soaked with.
Perspiration stains or wine stains.
Yeah, I don't have wine stains. I have a lot of coffee stains.
Coffee stains, tea stains, basically stains.
Stains, I know.
It'll take out stains.
Which in my case, it's probably going to be a big help because I sit there.
Hey, maybe if you brush your teeth with it, it'll help brighten them.
Yeah, yeah, well, probably would hurt.
Stains. If it takes coffee and tea out of white mugs,
yeah,
it'll take them off of your teeth.
That's right. So we got many things we can try. I'll try that to see how it works.
I'm going to have to test all that stuff.
That's what got me anyway. So.
There's a lot more uses for salt.
If you have uses we have listed, you know, let people know. You know, comment.
Well, you use it to preserve food.
Yeah,
and to dehydrate.
You
food.
cannot. Let me go.
What are you looking for?
I get something, but quick.
It's used for baking all the time.
Okay.
Anything that's canned, preserved.
Here.
What?
Without salt, you can't preserve your roasted gravy. Without salt, you can't can your chicken noodle soup. Without salt, you can't can your olives.
And there went half of your spices too.
Yeah, the President of the United States and his anti-salt campaign does not understand the reason we are able to can is because we have the technology. With the technology, none of these things are salt-free because you have to. It says, you know, like here's 3%, you know, 25% salt. This one 20% salt. 15% salt. The salt is there for 2 purposes. One, to flavor it. The main purpose, it allows you to store this stuff. Without salt, this stuff has a shelf life of probably 30 days or less. Mm-hmm. Because what happened during salt, the canning goes back, you know, salting food and fish and stuff for long trips has been being done for thousands of years. Canning only happened during the Civil War because what was happening, the stuff they were sending out to people basically was rotting in the cans because they had a short shelf life, and by the time that the soldiers in the battlefield got it, it was already spoiled. People were dying of food poisoning. So what happened was they changed the method of canning. They started using tin cans instead of zinc cans and adding salt to the mixture.
Oh, interesting.
And they got, you know, stuff with basically, I mean, my father basically, when he was in Hawaii, buried cases of Spam. And, you know, Spam is basically a whole bunch of ham products with salt in it. My father went back, I guess, we went back and he went back a quarter of a century after he buried his stuff, and he dug up the cases, and the stuff was just like the day it was created, because the salt had preserved it. That's what, you know, basically you can't destroy Spam. Spam will be, you know, when the earth is in a ball of fire, there will Spam survive.
Which means it's really good to have an emergency kit.
Yeah, that's right. Spam is forever. But the president is trying, the president wants to take salt out of all of these things. When you have a thing that says no sodium whatsoever in it. Basically, they chemically tried to do something.
And
And it
usually
doesn't
the
work.
chemicals are much worse.
They end up being worse for you, the environment, and everything. So this salt is very important. You can't live without salt. The people will say, well, I have to have a salt-free diet. Well, no, they don't have a salt-free diet. They have a low-salt diet. There is no such thing as a life form that could exist without salt. It can't be done. I mean, if you were to remove the salt from the human body, you'd be dead. If you were to remove the salt from any of the plants in the solar window behind us, they would be dead.
Well, also, for example, when we've gone out and it's been extremely hot,
Yeah.
right? One of the things that you've always made sure is that I have something with some salt in it. Like we'll have French fries.
Yeah.
But that's my Gatorade.
Yeah, but,
It's been so good.
in her case, though, French fries is like the Gatorade, because you can go over to McDonald's, get warm French fries with salt on them, you get it back into her system, and she's basically quits being, that way, because you can't get Gatorade everywhere, but you
Well,
can.
because if it gets
French
too
fries.
hot, then you have to drink more water.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't always have all that water with you.
Yeah, because like one of the things that Disney used to have was a McDonald's French fry wagon.
Oh,
And
they had the best French fries there.
always warm, only one size French fries. Everybody would buy the French fries, and basically it put salt back into your system, because I remember that they say my father's kids always had. He basically wouldn't eat the crap, so he'd end up saving it and sending it back. But his rations always had salt tablets with them, because even in a cold environment, they wanted to make certain that people had salt, because sometimes what happens is people wouldn't salt the food they were eating, and because they wouldn't salt the food, and they didn't, they were dried and stuff. They weren't necessarily salted, so they would dry them, which is where freeze drying came in for the military. And my father said there would be on the inside of his tank walls, it would be specifically written, take your salt tablets. And this would be,
Oh, really?
we're talking at the middle of winter and it's cold as hell. And on the inside it says, on the inside of his tank, that my father was a commander, but there were people above him, and the guy above him on every single tank had it labeled inside, remember to take your salt tablets. So, because like I said, what happened was the first thing that people would do is they'd take the salt and pepper and throw it away out of their containers. Because they didn't want it was bad enough, the food as it was, they didn't want to add stuff to it. So they weren't getting their salt. And the water was bad, so, so you don't know where the water came from, so you dump some stuff, part of your purification things in your thing with salt in it. You put it in a can, shake it up, and like that, because I've done that with my...
Really?
Yeah, so...
Oh, you salt your water to help purify it?
It's added to the purification tablets. You have salt in it. You sit there and shake it up, and it helps to kill the stuff. Yeah, and it's just a minor thing. It's not going to kill you. Anybody can drink X amount of salt water and not kill you. So it's just like you can only, if you've got a filtration kit in your raft or life raft or something, or in your vest if you jump out of an airplane in the military, it does have a filtration kit that basically is like a salt filtration kit. Basically, it's got salt to get rid of the salt, which is a funny thing.
Which is the salt with salt.
Yeah, if you got more, if you have something else that you do with salt, let us know so everybody else can know, rather than go to the Salt Institute. I went to the Salt Institute site.
Well, you can still go to the Salt Institute site.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of
There's a lot. You got a lot of
everybody.
reading. I got burned out of doing it. So that's why it's only so short. Because it's just they got subheadings for it, and then some of the things are all duplicates. It's the same, like the sore throat thing is the same thing for, your tooth, for cut gash on the inside of your mouth, and a lot of them is redundancy. So, but like I said, we can do it simpler. Just send a whole bunch of salt things to us, and people can go to YouTube and find out about uses for salt. Until next time, this is okay.
And this is not a spring chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. For more information,
You can go to www.montebubba.net on the net.
and join us daily for our newscast in 3D.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us.
That's right.
Because we've got a lot more in store for you. And thank you once again for over 40 million links on the internet.